Good morning, everyone. We all know that diplomatic allies are indispensable to a country due to some benefits can be given from this kind of relationship. Also, there are always news about diplomacy for people to debate. In fact, diplomacy is not only a word that seems to be so simple, but includes lots of knowledge. So, what does diplomacy mean? What are the functions of it? Why it is essential to a country, especially Taiwan? With so many questions, for the following, I will talk about the meaning of diplomacy, the classifications, the importance of it, and finally, I will talk about a recent news that related to diplomacy. Diplomacy refers to the activities of a country, city, or organization in international relations, and its purpose is to establish a relationship that can meet each other's needs, such as sending envoys to each other, conducting negotiations, and holding talks. Generally, peace, culture, trade, economy, and war are the main topics that diplomats will discuss. The purpose of diplomacy is to promote national interests. These interests are affected by geographical environment, historical factors, and economic development. The main purpose of the diplomacy is to maintain the independence, security, and integrity and security of national sovereignty as a first priority. But among all the purpose of diplomacy, the most important one is to reach an agreement without using violence as a means. The first one is preventive diplomacy. It means to prevent disputes from arising between the parties, to prevent existing disputes from escalating into conflicts, and to limit the spread of the latter when they occur. In fact, since the end of the Cold War, the international organizations, through the international communities, through international institutions, have been focusing on preventive diplomacy. And the measures include conflict early warning, fighting by UN missions, confidence building measures, early deployment, humanitarian assistance, and demilitarized loans. The second one is public diplomacy. It means to influence the country's people by dissemination and communication instead of directly influence the government of the country. The medium of this kind of diplomacy can be through propaganda or the medium produced by the interactions between the two countries' people, such as people's diplomacy. Due to the advancement of technology and the appearing of digital diplomacy, it is possible to interact with the foreign people in time, such as Facebook diplomacy or Twitter diplomacy. The third one is money diplomacy. It means to provide foreign aid or monetary policies to achieve its diplomatic goals. But some people think that it is a kind of capital penetration through investment to obtain more markets and privileges. Since most of our diplomatic allies are developing countries or underdeveloped countries, heavy donations and loans has been given to there every year. And this is the chart that our donations to our diplomatic allies within 10 years. What's more, Taiwan Technical Mission, Medical Center, and volunteer program are also in our diplomatic allies to help the locals. Then I will talk about the importance of our diplomatic allies. First question is, how it is important to have diplomatic allies? Under the One China principle and being suppressed and lured by China, Taiwan is not allowed to attend in any international organization, especially United Nations, which is the most important and the largest platform in international community, unless we no longer exist representing China. And the second question is, why should we have diplomatic relations with these small countries? Isn't it better to have rich countries? In fact, China, most of the powerful and developed countries are China's diplomatic allies, with as many as 173 diplomatic countries, and including the US, the UK, or Japan. Since establishing a relationship and being an ally means recognizing the country, it is impossible for those big countries to support us to join in any international organizations. But as United Nations stipulates that each member state has the right to vote for and to against certain proposals, it is our small but internationally recognized country can speak for us in the international community. And regardless of the slim chance they accept us, there must be a certain level of influence for the world to know more about Taiwan. Republic of Nicaragua unilaterally announced it broke relation ties with Taiwan on December 10. It is the second time they broke diplomatic relations with us within 36 years, and both of the decision was made during the reign of President Daniel Ortega, and whom the U.S. openly showed disfavor to and even rigged into the election last month. This maybe caused Ortega to seek for China's support to counterattack the U.S. sanction. With the departure of Nicaragua, Taiwan now only has 14 diplomatic allies, and the move seems to increase Taiwan's diplomatic isolations. But however, during the pandemic, Taiwan has stepped up official exchanges with some countries like Lithuania and Slovakia. In my opinion, it's good for Taiwan that we have increased the interaction with some Western countries and emphasize the sharing of democratic values and working with like-minded countries. in face of reduction of diplomatic allies, Taiwan now can change our strategy, our diplomatic strategies, and instead of focusing on the number of diplomatic allies, maybe we could provide substantial help to whoever needs it, and don't limit our helpful resources only to our allies. Our values is solid culture, take knowledge, and we are willing to do whoever needed and to help everyone in the global village. It will be the era of of nationwide diplomacy, sports diplomacy, and democratic diplomacy. I believe our efforts to maintain this relationship is definitely worth it and valuable for the year to come. This is the end of